Was Lagertha real? Scandalous clues about Lagertha from Vikings. Who was Lagertha? Are the stories that we have heard about Lagertha true? Let's check it out in this video. Legend has it that the legendary Viking Ragnar Lothbrok's ex-wife, Lagertha, was a shield-maiden and queen from what is now Norway. In the 12th century, the scribe Saxo wrote down her story. Welcome back to the historical saga. In today's episode, we will be seeing some of the scandalous clues about Lagertha from Vikings. I'm pretty sure you'll find this video to be quite exciting as we delve into the truths about Lagertha. Saxon stories of female warriors, according to historian Judith Jesch, are mostly made up. Nevertheless, some historians have suggested that they could have their roots in accounts of the Norse god Thorgerd. Whether Lagertha was a real person or a made-up figure used to symbolize shield maidens in Viking narratives is a subject of much controversy. Unfortunately, there are no first-hand descriptions of Lagertha's life because there were no historical documents or written records when she was alive. Lagertha is said to have been a Viking shield maiden and queen of modern-day Norway. Lagertha's story can be found in Saxo Grammaticus Gesta Danorum, which details how she met Ragnar and what he did to win her hand, an event mentioned in the first seasons of Vikings. According to the Gesta Danorum, Ragnar killed the bear and hound that guarded Lagertha's home, and thus they met. She battled with the men, rose to become Queen of Kattegat, and became a force to be reckoned with. She had been deceived by practically everyone, yet she refused to be discouraged. She still felt the gods' pull to turn the tide of her existence. In the final season of the Vikings, she even crowns her son King of Kattegat rather than challenging him to the throne. She plainly feels he was selected by the gods. When it comes to Lagertha, it's difficult to tell if it's due to good genes or showrunners disregarding a critical point in the Viking storyline. Whatever the reality was, Lagertha should have been in her mid-50s by the conclusion of Vikings, yet she seemed exactly as young as she did at the start. This is quite surprising because the program has been running for over 2 decades, making her lack of aging seem rather unnatural. Lagertha's career as a warrior began when Thror, king of Sweden, attacked Norway and slew the Norwegian king, Sigurd, according to the Gesta. Thror humiliated the women of the dead king's household by putting them in a brothel. Ragnar Lothbrok arrived with an army to avenge his grandfather Sigurd. Many of the women Thror had ordered abused dressed up as men and fought alongside Ragnar. Lagertha was one of them, and she was crucial to Ragnar's success. Ragnar courted her from a distance, admiring her bravery. Ragnar comes to ask for her hand after Lagertha pretends to be interested, telling his comrades to wait in the Gaular Valley. A bear and a large hound that Lagertha had posted outside her house charged at him, but he slew the bear with his spear and strangled the hound to death. So he succeeded in winning Lagertha's hand. Ragnar divorced Lagertha in order to wed Thora Borgharjortr, the daughter of King Harald of Sweden, after returning to Denmark to fight a civil war. After many adventures, he managed to win his new love's hand, but upon his return to Denmark, a civil war awaited him once more. According to Saxo, Ragnar requested assistance from Norway and Lagertha, who in return responded with 120 ships. Yet it is undeniable that despite Lagertha's perceived good nature, she remains the epitome of a usurper. Lagertha, while constantly playing the heroic warrior, is also vengeful and brutal in her conquests. She murdered her second husband and stole his lands. She also assassinated her third husband in order to avoid sharing authority. Finally, when conquering Kattegat, she assassinated Aslug. And with that rather gruesome fact, we come to the middle of this video. We have discussed a lot of interesting facts about Lagertha, and we still have a lot more facts in store for you. But before we go on to those facts, I would like to ask you to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Nobody truly knows for certain what a Viking sounded like. But because the majority of them are from Norway and Denmark, the ancient dialects of these countries are the best bet. The Vikings were not particularly good at leaving written documents, so most of what we know about them comes from the people they pillaged. The accents employed in the show, according to actress Catherine Winnick, who plays Lagertha, are designed to mimic people who speak Swedish. Although Ragnar and Lagertha were married and had a child together, Ragnar had a difficult time courting Lagertha. For a while, Lagertha dragged out their long-distance relationship, but she wasn't into Ragnar. Lagertha was getting ready for something quite different, while Ragnar was seeing a future for the two. Lagertha, the historical character, was definitely Ragnar's first wife, although she bore him 3 children rather than 2. The children were 1 son and 2 daughters. Just because the show Vikings does not follow the exact historical context as it pertains to characters in legend and history, does not make the characters on screen any less real or important from a historical perspective. In Vikings, Björn, Lagertha's lone son, is the sole surviving child of Ragnar and Lagertha. However, legend has it that he was not even Lagertha's child. In truth, he was Aslug's firstborn son, making him full-blood kin to Ragnar's youngest son, Ivar the Boneless. Ragnar said that he had to overcome a number of challenges before successfully winning Lagertha's hand in marriage. Many men in and around Kattegat coveted Lagertha because she was strong and attractive. She chose Rollo as her partner out of one of these men by chance. Ragnar actually had to betray his brother and maybe even engage in bloody combat with his own flesh and blood in order to gain Lagertha's affection. And after all of that, did they really just break up? Well, let's discuss this topic with a bit more detail. Lagertha and Ragnar continue to be allies despite Lagertha leaving him for another man. He even looked to Lagertha for assistance in resolving issues in Denmark when she provided him with 120 ships loaded with troops. Even before she arrived, the fight had begun to shift in Ragnar's favor because of her strategic use of the terrain. Lagertha remarried to Sigvard, the Jarl of Hedeby, after parting ways with Ragnar. Since she married her second husband for power rather than love, the union was doomed from the very start. Sigvard was a harsh man who thrashed both Björn and Lagertha. During the large feast in the Jarl of Hedeby's chambers, Lagertha would watch as her husband scolded her son in front of the guests. She endured it all, waiting calmly for the right time to dispose of her husband. Regardless of Lagertha's actual background, it is obvious that in Saxo's work, she plays the role of a warrior woman, a position that was not quite commonly expected of historical women at the time. Even though the idea of the strong Viking woman has captured the imaginations of modern popular culture, the evidence from archaeology and history does not prove their existence. The Old Norse sagas, on the other hand, are a whole other animal and include powerful women who take charge, exact retribution, defy their husbands, or even engage in wars and battles. Lagertha is not the only shield-maiden in the various tales centered around Ragnar Lothbrok. Another of Ragnar's wives, Aslug, leads her men into combat with the Swedes while also neutralizing the terrifying powers of their magical cow. Even more specifically, Lagertha is referred to as skilled Amazon. Lagertha is more intimately associated with Ragnar than Saxo, who often concentrated on female warriors fighting alone. Twice she actively helped Ragnar in combat. Saxo's description of her abilities are largely impartial, but as her tale ends with her killing her husband and assuming the kingdom for herself, he subtly expresses his disdain for her in general. Whether Lagertha existed or not, it is better that she does not serve as a role model for other women. For the final season of the Vikings, Catherine Winnick's Lagertha will return. She spoke with ET about the need to make Lagertha older for the following season. She must dress the part because she is a grandma now. Fans will recall how Lagertha's hair last season literally turned white overnight. If Lagertha was a real person or just stuff of legends, we may never know. She could have been a Norse deity described in legends. The good news is that Lagertha will play a significant role in the last season of the Vikings. And with that, we come to the close of today's video. Tell us, what do you guys feel? Was Lagertha a real person? Do comment in the comment section down below. If you learned something new today, do give us a thumbs up and share this video with your friends. Also, do not forget to subscribe to our channel, Historical Saga. And don't forget to watch our other videos from our playlist as well. Goodbye!